Many of us strive to be the best versions of ourselves in the workplace. We set seemingly impossible goals. We battle to achieve them. Often in that pursuit, we forget to take the same level of care and diligence with ourselves and with the ones we love the most. LodeStar is about those moments, the ones that shape go-to-market journeys and the humans behind them. We'll dive into the wins, the mistakes, and the lessons that don't fit neatly into a playbook. Hi everyone, Cliff Simon here with another episode of LodeStar. I'm joined today by my friend Alex Grace. How you doing, Alex?
Doing good. We've been talking about doing this for a year, it seems. So I'm glad that we finally locked each other down and made this happen.
For the folks listening, where are you at now? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I am the VP of Revenue at a company called Arta. We do shipping, insurance, basically post-sale technology for luxury goods. So Sotheby's, Christie's, artsy, stuff like that. So shipping expensive stuff and insuring it and making a seamless post-purchase experience. So the Amazon checkout for, Picasso's.
Okay, so what's the most interesting thing that you guys have moved? And maybe on the other side, what's the most mundane?
Our CEO tracks every shipment. He'll be like, we're shipping this, we're shipping that. But it only bubbles up to me from my team, and I have a team of millennials. So apparently, we shipped, Kylie Jenner bought Timothy Chalamet a Bob Dylan jacket that he wore for something, and we shipped it to her. To her assistant, but I don't really know. I know those are people, I think, but.
And you've recently welcomed a little one.
I have a baby girl, Iris, in January. It's the longest close cycle I think I've ever experienced, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. She's gotten into her witching hour phase, which is a lot of fun. But she's the cutest thing and the greatest thing that I think I've ever done. So, and I did nothing.
You've been a 4-time VP.
That is true. It is true. So soon to be CRO as well. So yeah.
Well, early congrats then.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's been more difficult, the building go-to-market teams or starting life as a dad post 40?
I mean, it's not the hard part of being a dad yet. I'm not playing catch or chasing her around or having to, it's basically the eat, sleep, shit, and repeat. So it's definitely taught me patience, and I'm still getting better at that.
It is a journey, my friend.
For now, it's building the GTM teams. If my wife watches this, it's definitely the baby, but I'm sure it will be the baby soon. But I enjoy it. She's so cute, and when she can scream for an hour, and you want nothing to do with her, and then she smiles at you, and you're like, "Oh, just kidding. I love you. You're the best." Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely in my girl dad era, and I remember when she came out, I was like, "Yep."
I'm just waiting for the painted nails.
Yeah, basically. I would do that anyways. No, it's funny when she came out, I was like, I'll definitely go to jail for this baby. Prison. So there's that. So if you watch this in the future, don't come for my child. Don't date her. She doesn't exist.
Not until she's 21.
56.
56.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 girls, so I'm already watching them wrap me around their finger.
Oh no, she definitely already has me wrapped around her finger. But building GTM teams is hard too. One is easier because you have more help, and that's the GTM team. I think that you've got a team of 20 people helping you do it versus it's just me and my wife, and God bless her, she does most of the work. So I come in at 5 o'clock at the end of my day and let her get out of the room, go shower, do all that stuff.
So on the GTM side, what are you finding that's working?
It changes every day. I think the world of technology led to this prevailing outreach storm of email and LinkedIn messages where, there was just so much crap that landed in your inbox on a daily basis. And everybody moved away from the old school things that work. And I hate to sound like that guy, but picking up the phone, that's what works. It always has worked. It never stopped working. But people relied on it less, and my team will laugh when they see this, but I remember like, I was like, why don't you try it and see if it works? Like knowing that it's gonna work. And then like, a week later, they're like, oh my God, it's great. Like I'm building so much top of funnel, and I'm like, weird. Definitely didn't see that happening. Like it's, because again, it's about standing out. Like you have to do email, you have to do LinkedIn, you have to do all of those things. But it's how do I reach, how do I cut through the noise so that I'm there in that moment when they need me. Like if they don't need you, it's really hard to convince them. It's a lot of steps of telling them they have a problem, showing them what that problem costs them, et cetera, et cetera. How do you meet them in that moment of need? The analogy I've always used is like, if I owned a tire shop, I would advertise in every pothole in the city. So how do you, through outreach, meet them in that moment where they're looking through intent data, through other data that's out there? There's tons of data that it's almost paralyzing. How do you amalgamate all that data, find that intent in that moment when your buyer is shopping, so that you can let them know you exist?
So how are you guys amalgamizing all the data? Like there are all these buying signals. There is all this enrichment data. There is just everything. It's like there's a blob. How are you navigating that?
Not all of it's great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
Like half of it is garbage. There's two kind of streams that we follow, which is the general awareness that we exist. Mm-hmm. That's your thought leadership stuff, your kind of brand marketing. And then you have your kind of top of funnel outreach to people who, based on a set of criterias that we've over time gotten honed in, here is what our buyer looks like in the moment that they're in the general moment when they're looking for us, and then building an outreach cadence around that. But the good thing about, for us specifically, is like shipping and insurance is always an issue. Tariffs have made it more of an issue because of the uncertainty of, one day it's 100%, one day it's 10%, then it's refunded, then it's not. Like, there's general uncertainty around that. Every day they're shipping stuff. They always want better rates. They want more reliable transit. They want, to not have to be on the phone with FedEx for 4 hours trying to figure out where their package is. The pain is ongoing and ever present. So it's not like we have to find the time when they're looking to change their CRM, which is likely never, or the time that like that. I do not envy people who have to sell CRM, because there's a ton of new ones that are really cool that I see all the time, and I'm like, but the thought of ripping mine out like makes me want to drink. The point is that it's not, I'm not looking for a moment in time. It's more of a like, how do I find them when they've just gotten off the phone with FedEx for 4 hours and they're like, I hate FedEx. How do I, shout out FedEx. How do I find them in that moment?
And then do you guys also run anything from a channel or partnerships perspective with the different auction houses and things like that? Or
we're starting to do more of this. I came in and there was a GTM motion that was in fits and starts, and you had this kind of split focus of how do we expand our existing business. So like with an auction house that we do 20% of their business, how do we grow that to 40%? And then also trying to pat your head and rub your belly at the same time. How do I focus on a new business momentum that generates net new clients for us? And I think before I started, there was a lot of kind of movement between the two and not being able to focus on both. And so when I came in, it was a lot of making sure that we got that started, and then going after partnerships. So, I mean, we've been doing dinners. We found dinners to be really successful. In New York City, I'm pretty sure as a sales leader, I could eat for free. There are enough dinners going on in this city every day. Not so much in art and luxury e-commerce. And so it's been a really great place for people who used to work together to reconnect and to network and to talk about the things that they're struggling with, all under the banner of Arta putting on the dinner. And so we've been doing a lot of those road shows, et cetera. And then now we're starting to do more partnership stuff. So one of our big insurance underwriters, we're partnering with them to kind of help each other out with lead flow and doing events. So there are a lot of areas of building out partnerships, but it's a slower channel that's harder to...
Takes time.
it takes time, but it also is one that I don't have my hand on the wheel. Like, on direct, I can, if I spend $10,000 more, I get $10,000 more back. Like with partnerships, it's not as direct input. So I've always I prioritize direct over partnerships, at least in the industry I'm in now.
I mean, if you can throw $10,000 at something, get $10,000 back. That's not
not great. No, we get more. You should get more. You want 10x on that.
Sure, but I mean, for mature organizations, we're seeing them spend $3 to get a dollar.
Ugh. Well, I'm fortunately not there yet. That is a first world problem that I don't have yet. When you've shaken the tree and everything's fallen out, and now you got to climb up in the tree and start picking things out.
You're good at climbing, though, right?
Yeah, but I much prefer to shake the tree. It's a lot easier. Just
throw the millennials
come to me. Yeah, right. Exactly.
How are you guys thinking about integrating AI into your daily workflows? I know that's something that a lot of folks are thinking through these days.
I mean, I am a huge fan of Claude Cowork. Like, I use it to, like granola and all those things to like make my day more efficient. So I'm doing less meeting follow up or writing notes down, and can really surface to me on a daily basis, like what are the big problems that need my attention? What are the outstanding tasks? Where are we heading? All of the kind of the combination of like having a secretary plus a HubSpot, a super great HubSpot dashboard plus like that's what I've been using it for. Our team is using it for outreach and content creation. So we're using it a lot. I think anybody who's used Claude as an example, it takes a lot of honing, because like that first meeting agenda that it outputs is basically like a 2-hour pipeline review, and you're like, whoa, I don't need all of this. And so really getting it to refine into like powerful sentences versus powerful paragraphs, you have to be careful, because it can go wild. And then there's the bad data in, bad data out. You got to make sure that people are updating HubSpot and that you've pointed it at the right things. But I mean, it's made my day more efficient. I think it's made our team more efficient. It takes a lot of the mundane stuff. I don't want to say mundane, but the like repetitive busy work.
Yep.
Out off of their plates, so that they can do the more high leverage thing, which is something that like before AI, I've always said is how do you get your team into more high leverage situations?
Yep.
Cold calling is higher leverage than emailing, definitely. But like writing email campaigns or sending out mass mailers like we used to do back in the day, or, those are low leverage. High leverage is closing calls, demos, etc. How do I point people at those things? Because those are the things that they can make the most impact. Yep. Those are the things that like AI may come for at some point, but
it's not coming anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's like maybe being part of an RFP, right?
Yeah. Like AI could be. I feel bad, but like AI would be a great sales engineer. Like, that's having somebody on the call that can constantly answer product questions, can do product demos, can point to like, here's your pain, here's how the solve, that for sure. But the art of like urgency and, about convincing and building excitement, like that's a human for the foreseeable future.
Let people do the things that they're good at.
Exactly.
You travel a ton. How's that working these days, especially with a 2-month-old?
Well, it hasn't. So I've been grounded for a while. So my wife is from the UK, so we have family in the UK. Her mom is living in Malta. My parents are in Dallas. I have a big group of friends in Mexico City. So we did a lot of traveling last year to kind of get it out of our system. It's definitely less with a baby, although we're in that like newborn phase where it's like the right time to travel with a kid. So we're going to a friend of mine's wedding in Mexico in July. We're talking about doing a trip in May. We're going to London for a christening in July as well. And then Thanksgiving, we're going to travel. So I think we're going to get in enough baby travel while we can. But
before you have to buy that extra ticket.
Seriously.
It adds up.
I know.
I've been fairly grounded since we had number 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, just even the trips that I've got coming up in April and May and June, she's like, ooh, like I'm trying, it's like
I
leave
postponed for a while.
first thing in the morning, do an entire day, stay one night, do the entire next day, red eye home.
Yeah, the best thing about having a baby is that like the amount of shit that I feel like I need to do has significantly lowered. I'm just like, I don't want to go to that dinner. I don't want to do this thing that I otherwise would have felt obliged to if I didn't have anything. I'm like, I'd rather stay home with my kid. Same with trips. Like, we do a trade show in Vegas that I try to shuck Vegas trips, like a running back if I can. And I'm just like, not going to Vegas. Like, don't want to do it. We've got a trade show in Amsterdam. I'm like, no, I'm good. You guys, the team can handle it. So it's forced me to to give the team more responsibility, which is great. So I can focus on the things that I'm good at and where I'm high leverage.
It's funny. I posted this yesterday. Actually, it's a short from the first episode of LodeStar with Kyle Norton, about how his wife is this unlock for him. But the reason that works is because he has this ruthless prioritization in order to help him be effective both at home and effective at work, right? Builds a ton of stuff with AI, taking a team from 2 to 50 million over the last few years. At the same time, fairly involved with his kids, fairly certain they homeschool because we were chatting about that. So and I know we do, it's a whole other additional bundle of challenges. But yeah, that level of really focusing on the prioritization helps you push other things away. And I know for me earlier in my career, it was really hard to say no to things.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think I'm this eternal optimist that always wants to see, okay, well, it might uncover this, or who knows what'll happen from that. And, this is coming from the guy who met a 20-year-old kid on a Slack channel, and that ended up becoming a great company that we sold. So
it's hard because there's the hero fallacy where you feel like, I can do this best, I can do it quickest, so I'm going to do it. You have to that's part of becoming a leader, is that you have to realize that okay, I've hired, it's also not dissimilar to being a father. I've raised this kid, I've done all I can, now I need to set them into the world and hope for the best, but I can't control, I have to relinquish control. It's the same with a team. You hire really smart people, let them be really smart people. That has always worked. It is the one thing I find when I come into a company that without fail works, is listen to the team, do the things that they tell you that need to be done because they're closer to the problem.
Yeah.
Let them be genius. Let them be, be smart and then you can fill in the cracks. I've always believed in hiring to my weaknesses versus my strengths. I don't want
100%.
I don't want 10 more of me. I want 10 more that can fill in the things I'm not good at.
Things I'm not good at and things I don't want to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, the things that I don't want to do is a very long list. I can't, otherwise I'd be out of a job. But no, I mean, I think that you want to hire to the things that I'm not good at, and fill a team around that. And then if you do that, not letting them, voice their opinions or not letting them run with it, that's why did you hire them in the first place?
I mean, yeah, going through this in late February, we had our 4th, and then my mom's sick, so I went back over to Amsterdam. And between the two of those events happening over 2 or 3 weeks, I really had stepped back. And it was really interesting to get feedback from the team. Just this past week, we went out for drinks and we were chatting, and that was really good for everybody in the business because we got to really feel and see the pressure testing and hear some feedback of things that didn't go well, hear some feedback of things that did, and yeah, that was really good.
It was funny because we're a smaller company. When I took pat leave, I think everybody was like, oh, things are going to slow down, things are going to fall by the wayside. And I was pleasantly surprised that I was still checking Slack and, I was making sure things were happening. But I was pleasantly surprised that I don't even want to say pleasantly surprised because I kind of expected it. The team did what the team does, which is that they kept about their business and, they were able to kind of run not as good with me, but close. I have to say that, otherwise they don't need me. No, I'm just kidding. the one thing I've always found true in leadership is that like people always surprise you, and in a good way, not a bad way. Like they always are capable of more than they think they are. They're always, they're always better than they think they are. Their ceiling is higher than they think it is. Like, I mean, that's why I got into leadership, was seeing that. Like, I used to be the guy on the sales floor that was like, give me your worst performing salesperson, the guy that you're thinking about firing from your team. Move him over here. I'll take him and I'll make him productive. Like, that was the reclamation projects. Like, I used to love that.
How do you interview, or what are you specifically looking for to figure out like who has that diamond in the rough potential? Like, is there a character trait or a tendency that you're looking for?
Yeah, hunger, curiosity, grit. Like, I think that, like, though, I mean, that's nothing
new.
Nothing new. This is not like gonna break the internet insight. But I will tell you that, like, you can't teach hunger. People may say you can. You definitely can't. The thing that always drove me is there's an AE for one of my competitors out there that's making calls when I'm not. I may go to bed at 9 o'clock, but he's going to bed at 10. And if you don't have that fire inside of you that is like, somebody else is going to do it if I don't, that's hunger. And that's not teachable.
So how do you uncover that innate intrinsic motivation as part of the interview process?
I feel like we've gotten into this like groupthink on interviews, and it's funny because when you interview, like when you do a lot of interviews, but then you also do interviews with other people, you're like, I know why you're asking that question. I know what you're trying to find. Like, I just like to have conversations, get to know people. Like, I'm assuming based on your resume, you've had a lot more things go well than go bad. Let's talk about the things that went bad. I want to hear about things you wish you'd do differently, mistakes you've made, what you learned from them. Like, talk me through the deals that didn't close. Like, that's what I want to hear, because that's where, like, what did you learn from it? How much hunger did you have for that deal? Were you fighting for it until the last minute? Talk to me about, like, relationships at work that didn't go well. I want to hear about the bad stuff. And people always think like, oh, well, it paints me in a bad light. No. Just telling me that everything's great and I've had nothing but success, that paints you in a bad light. Because I'm like, A, bullshit. And B, you learn more from failure than you do from success. And so you haven't learned a lot because you haven't failed. And so, I want to learn about how people deal with, the no's. How do you deal with adversity? Like, I don't know. And that helps me also be a better manager. If I know what drives you and I know what motivates you, I know how to motivate you, and I know how to speak to you, and I know how you want to be trained and coached and like all of that stuff. And so I think that, like, the way that I have always viewed interviews is conversations. There's not an agenda. I don't want to like go through your interview. I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, what you're looking for, what you're not looking for, and then like let's dive into where'd you fail, what went wrong, what do you want to correct, like all of that stuff.
As someone who's built a lot of teams in the past, with the advent of where AI is now, what are your fears or concerns for this next generation of sellers that are coming in?
There are a few concerns. So, like, number one, I think the grunt work that AI, or the repetitive work that AI is still important. Learning how to craft an email is teaching you how to be persuasive, how to be succinct, how to be, how to convince somebody. Words matter. Every word, and this is how I was trained. Every word in that email needs to have weight and matter. No fluff. No, like, how's your day? Like, you have to write an email that's impactful.
I hope all is well.
Yeah, like, otherwise you get these like 7 paragraphs and I'm like, nobody's reading that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that AI is replacing that is important. How do you use it for the right things, but still learn? Like, AI could have me riding a bike, but I still need to learn how to ride the bike. I need to do the work. It's like using a calculator for a math problem. Like, yeah, sure. But I need to be able to, if the internet goes out, I need to be able to do it. And so I think that worries me. I hate to like jump on the remote work bandwagon, but like I do think that like having the experience of being in an office is unparalleled. And I think that like as people who grew up going into an office every day,
Yeah,
like
suit and tie.
I know, and going out after work with the team. I mean, I would argue that like probably half of my promotions came from the fact that like my boss liked me and we would go out and we would have drinks as a team and I was a fun guy and like they were like, we're gonna push for this guy to get promoted, right or wrong. I think that we haven't caught up, us, and this is the challenge that I pose to us as leaders. We haven't come up with a successful way of engaging and replacing that experience for people in a remote environment. And so as a result, they're being given a major disservice by us as the leader. Like we have to own our part of it.
I think about like growing up for me, started at Verizon and being in a bullpen of sorts.
Oh
right?
God!
And like
bringing a gong.
We didn't have a gong, but
cutting ties.
there was a bell.
We used to
There was a
cut
bell.
ties. On your
Yeah,
first
there
day.
were people that I remember the cut tie thing. Gosh, that brings back memories. Being in the bullpen and everyone's cold calling on an actual phone,
Energy.
right? But then you're finishing up and someone else is like on a heater, or like having a great conversation. It's sort of like that scene in Wolf of Wall Street, right? Everyone's like gathering around and picking up the pieces, and you're all constantly learning from each other. So the level of progression on the positioning, the messaging, the way that you handle different objections, like you grew so much faster
Yes.
than I'm going to make my 40 cold calls at home, and I'm doing that in isolation. I'm not really getting any live coaching on that.
Yeah.
Even if you're using an AI tool to be able to help mimic some of that, great, but it's still not the same as getting it from your peers who are all seeing, N30, N40, N70 of that in the same day. And now you're getting that joined experience across the entire team on a day where you might hear about the one call that went halfway decent at the end of a day catch
So
up.
you watch the gong recording and async.
Oh, yeah.
And,
You watched the gong recording. Come on.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the original gong. We used to plug in these little tape recorders, and you'd listen to the tape back. I agree, and I think that this is again our ownership of this is that like it's easy to take the Jamie Dimon route and say like, remote work is killing productivity and everyone needs to be back in the office. It's like, okay, cool, but how? Like there are parts of remote work being flexible with schedules, allowing people to be at home. Like it's really nice for me to I have an hour break in my meetings and I can go, take the baby and watch her so that my wife can go have an hour to herself. Like that kind of stuff is a net benefit. We owe that to the next generation to figure that out. But I also think that they are missing something. They're missing that like connection of having that floor, listening to that call, seeing, oh, this is the top salesperson on the leaderboard. I'm just going to sit next to him for a day or her for a day and like just listen to them. That worries me more than the AI piece.
Well, I think the problem is that they don't get enough access to one another or to the company as a whole, right? And that's sort of what we keep talking through here. And how do you make that possible? I think remote work has been great for many of the reasons you've mentioned. I actually think productivity generally is up when it comes to that in maybe every other portion of the business. Ops teams tend to work better, finance teams tend to work better, but maybe it's a little bit more challenging on the sales side just because you need that interpersonal connection, that constant learning. And I think a portion of that too is because it's such a wildly different role from the roles and responsibilities perspective and from like the typical makeup of the people who do that type of job.
Yeah.
They have a different intrinsic need.
I won't name the company, but I remember I was at a company, a big company, building out a sales team a couple years ago. And like when I first started, and this was a massive red flag, they instituted a no meetings at lunch policy. So from 12 to 1, no meetings. And that was because my day was I was living in Texas, working New York hours, was from 7 to 5, back-to-back meetings. They were 30-minute meetings, but they would always take 45. So by the end of the day, you're kicking meetings. And like you're just in this meeting, you'd have meetings to talk about meetings to make decisions, but you wouldn't make any decisions, and those would get kicked to the next meeting. And at some point, you're like, first of all, when do I get to do my actual job, the work, and then also like just make a decision. Like that's my. I have a bias to action, and I believe in, and my team has a bias to action. I'm like, we can talk about it until we're blue in the face. Just make a decision, like right or wrong.
Let's run with it for a couple of weeks and see what happens.
Exactly. And the worst thing that could happen is it goes wrong and we fix it. Like,
because now we have empirical data.
Exactly. I promise you're not going to break it.
Yeah. It's a lot more interesting when you're like coming in from the outside. The last several years as a consultant, and like you're trying to help people make that decision, and it's like, come on, just try.
Just
okay.
do it.
Yeah, exactly. Just do the thing.
It is like progress. Are we at least a little further than we were?
Do we know
before
more?
This meeting?
Have we tested? Yeah.
I thought we were peak GTM tech like last year, and we are not. There's really cool stuff.
There's so much.
There's so much stuff, but it is like, I think that there is a need for consolidation.
Oh, it's happening.
Because it needs to, like, I need to have 1 or 2 platforms.
And stitch the rest of it together with agents.
Exactly. And not 17 different tools that
it's like
overlap.
You've been listening to my LinkedIn post. Right?
I do read your LinkedIn stuff. Can we wax about LinkedIn influencers?
Sure. Yeah.
For the last, I hate them. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's so funny. That is the worst. Like, LinkedIn has become Facebook. It's like,
oh my gosh.
This LinkedIn is Facebook when they allowed non-college kids to come on. It's just rapidly gone down a cliff.
Too many selfies.
Way too many selfies, way too many moms that don't know how to use it, putting their bank account information on their walls. Like, I believe in providing value for free. It's why it's why we both, I'm assuming, joined Pavilion. Like, the reason that I do things like this is like, I've made tons of mistakes in my career. And if I can prevent people from making just one of them, then I've been helpful. Like, that's what, LinkedIn should have been. It's what Pavilion is. It's what, all these other, I mean, we're members of multiple different ones, but like, it's what those
Shout
are.
out GTM Fund.
Yeah, exactly. GTM Fund. I need to return Paul's phone call. Poor guy. Sorry, Paul. Anyways, I think that like those different communities are great. Mm-hmm. Where it breaks is when people are shouting to hear the sound of their own voice.
Yeah. And
LinkedIn has become that. It's become, like the manosphere. It's like just people that are just chest thumping about how great they are.
It's better to just let other people talk about how great they are on your platform instead. So,
Exactly. I'm not great. I am not great. Like I am far from great. I get lucky frequently and I work really hard.
I would say that is the common theme of the people that sit in that chair.
Yeah.
They are willing to work hard.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, there's nothing else. Why else?
Well, I feel like
why else are we here?
I feel like a lot of people want to be able to do something, show success for a 6 to 9, maybe 12-month period of time, and then say they've done the thing, and like now we just go on LinkedIn and say that we've done the thing.
Just kick their legs up, like.
Yeah, I did it the one time, and now like I'll create a course on it.
Oh God.
Whereas like they haven't put in the reps. You haven't done it 5, 10, 15 years and like consistently performed. Because ultimately, that's what matters, right? Investors, founders, what everyone is looking for, people who are looking to acquire a company, they want to see consistent performance over time, and they want to see that you've gotten better and learned lessons along the way.
Yes.
It's not about a one-time flash in the pan.
And the other part is like, if you're doing the thing, how do you have time to post about it? Which is why I don't post anything, because I'm busy doing the thing.
Honestly, a really easy hack for that.
I don't know.
Well, it's not crazy. So use your call recording technology, right? You've got your client problems right there. Mm-hmm. Suck that into your own private Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, and have it distill that down into the main client problems, and then use that as the prompts for what you're going to write about. Because they're actual client problems that people are talking about with you. So like that they're current client problems and that you're hearing it directly from your personas. And then it's not just like fluff. It's like you're talking about things that people are really dealing with.
It's not a bad idea. I just don't. Maybe it's like.
And I also have a marketing team.
Yeah, this sounds like a great thing.
My agency does
Shout
that.
out Miles. I'm gonna take notes because we're gonna do this. You're gonna reach out and he's gonna teach you how to do it.
So
I don't post even on Instagram. I mean, when I was single, I posted on Instagram a lot.
Yeah, I haven't posted on Instagram since I got married.
Yeah, basically. And now like it's the same with LinkedIn. Like I feel like the only time I post is it's basically just like a welfare check where I'm like, yep, still alive. It's the same on LinkedIn.
Oh, a
like
welfare check,
yeah,
not a
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah, like a well, no,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
pictures of my welfare
Yeah,
check.
yeah, yeah.
But no, it's like a hey, are you still alive? I prefer this platform to like distill the like nuggets of knowledge. Like
100%
people
agree.
reach out to me. I'm happy to like first of all, salespeople, this is not a reason for you to reach out to me to try to sell me something. But if you have questions about
please sell him
building,
something.
oh my God, it's so bad. It is so bad. They just need to get better. I think that like for me, I'd much rather give it, personal, but also relevant.
Yeah.
Than just like shout it in a room. But that's just me, and like I think I see the value in it if it's used right. The worry I have is that like much like LinkedIn advertising and email, LinkedIn messages and outreach cadences, like it has a risk of becoming like a flea market.
Yeah, 100%. Right? It just becomes more noise, right?
Exactly.
Which is going back to like what you were saying earlier, and I wholly agree with the dinners and like anything that's experiential where you can get people in front of other people and have
cut through the
real
noise.
conversations. It's a pattern interrupt.
Yep.
And if everyone starts doing same, you have to start looking at what else is different.
Yes. 100%.
Whether it's
How do I
in-person
stand
dinners,
out?
whether it's education, whether it's gifting, whatever it might turn out to be. Maybe you just get like a really compelling speaker. I don't know, like Neil deGrasse Tyson or something, right? And you get people to come out for something wildly different and just bring them in.
I had a company. I'll tell the story and then we can wrap. But I had a company that I consulted for that was trying to stand out, and they were in the health tech space, and they went on and decided to stand outside of HIMSS, which is like the big healthcare trade show, and hand out donuts at the door to people walking in. And they wore a T-shirt that said their company name. That was it. No hook, no demos, no QR codes, no nothing. Just here, hey, good morning. Here's a donut. Probably one of the best performing ad campaigns I've ever seen. Like their search results went up massively, website visits went up massively, inbounds went up massively because people were just like, who are the nice guys with the donuts? The point is like, how do you stand out in a room full of noise? Like that is the GTM question, the solve is, where are my buyers and how do I stand out to them in a way that doesn't seem contrived or forced?
Yeah.
And like I'm trying to help. Offer help before asking for anything in return. Offer value before asking for value. You know?
Cool. So cut through the noise. It's that easy.
And if you want to know how, you should take my class.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of LodeStar, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Thanks.